So I was recently looking at my desk and I had a giant mess of cables for charging many different phones and watches and things like that. And I was thinking about building my own little charging station, but I ran across this guy on Amazon and I thought this was pretty close to what I would probably want to cut for myself if I was going to try to CNC something. And it's pretty simple. You buy your own sort of charging hub to put inside of it, which is nice, so you can get what you like. And then it's just a bamboo sort of collection that lets you slide different devices in. It allows different size devices to go on top. And then one thing that was interesting is it had this little, I guess, iPhone holder, not iPhone, Apple Watch holder here to charge. Now I have a Pebble Time. I don't have a Apple Watch. I have something that looks like this, and it charges. It has like a little magnetic charging interface on the back here. So what I wanted to do was use something like this and then make an adapter here that would allow me to adapt that little charging spot for the Pebble Time. And here you can see what I came up with. The watch fits over it pretty nicely. It just starts charging immediately. To get to this point, I had to try a lot of different designs. This one, which was going out the wrong way, and a lot of other round designs I tried, which I later kind of didn't feel like that worked too well. Some of them fit well in the holder, some of them stuck up too much. I even had this one back here, which really didn't fit at all in there, so I was playing with tolerances and things. Then I eventually moved to this square design and started to settle on that and got to the charging port moved up to where it fit nicely. And I got to this, which also has this little notch on the side for the cable to fit in and give it some strain relief, and also guides it towards that center port on the bamboo holder. So in Fusion 360 you can see I modeled this thing up. It's pretty simple. I have my zero plane set to the top because I intend to print it like this, even though there'll be some overhangs and things that it'll have to span, but that's okay. A quick breakdown of the thing. The basic sketch geometry is this. It's just a couple of concentric circles and then the squares for where I want to extrude in and out, so you can see the top extrusion and the bottom extrusion there. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut out these slots for the plug. And I did some experimenting to try to get that the right size so that hot glue, there's a little bit of room for hot glue and it comes out just right. Then there's a couple of chamfers on the edges because I want the watch bands to sort of rest naturally around the edge. I also experimented with the placement of this slot so that because where the slot for the cable is will determine where the watch sits on here. So if it was right in the middle, because the charging port is near the top of the Pebble Time, then the whole thing would scoot down and wouldn't look right. So this position was, via experimentation. So then I drew another little sketch on the side, extruded that out, did another little sketch there, extruded that to make a cut. And then I always, I put a little chamfer there to round that edge, and I like to add, anytime I have parts sticking out of plastic when I 3D print, I like to add some fillet. I keep saying chamfer. I'll add some fillets there to add. It gives a lot more strength. Just those tiny little extra rounded edges of plastic can really help add strength to a 3D printed part. So anyway, it's pretty simple, and it came out pretty good. So once you have that printed out, you can go ahead and add some hot glue into the slot for the charger plug, and go ahead and set your plug in the slot. I just sort of put it on one side to lift it up as the cable pulls it in that direction, but you really could put it everywhere. And then when you're gluing this in, I tried to leave enough room for plenty of hot glue in there, but the trick is to just make sure that the magnets and the pogo pins sit above the level of the plastic so that they're not down below, and that also that it's flat. You don't want to twist in it or it to be higher on one side or the other. So you just kind of glue it in there and use the motion of the glue initially to try to get it at just the right angle. And once you have that done, of course, all you need to do is just put the little twist in your cable to put it in that strain relief notch, and then add some glue down that channel on the side of the bamboo. Now you can also glue in this plastic piece that you're working with, which I opted to do just in case the friction fit is not enough, or you just want to make sure it doesn't wobble around. So I put a little glue in there, and went ahead and set the adapter in there, and that'll dry very quickly as well. Now once you have that, you can just add a bead of glue down the vertical channel on the bamboo holder, and from there it's just a matter of taking out any slack from below and setting the stand in place. Now, as a word of warning, I bought a few of these cheap Chinese cable replacements that are not the real Pebble Time ones, but they're meant to be replacements. They're complete garbage. Don't even waste your time with any of them. They're just garbage. I had 3 of them and none of them worked, and I wound up wasting weeks waiting for shipments and everything. Just buy the official Pebble Time charger cable. So that's it. It worked pretty well, and I'll have the design up on Thingiverse for anyone to print it if you like it.